Hey, good afternoon everybody. It's about 4:08. Yeah, I know I haven't done a video today, which is surprising until now because I kind of rested most of the day. I guess I needed it. But anyway, as you can see, this is a response to STH151NicoleFan, I guess that's what we call them, video where they did a text of the they did what we call a text video. In other words, they don't have no mic to speak their minds, or maybe they're not using a camera or something like that. But anyway, basically they stated a few theories, and I typed up my thoughts here. So for people that have been wanting me to read something off paper so that I don't mess up, this is basically what my written version, my written text was on the response. Basically, I did this written text, if you will, to basically give those over at other sites like Toon Zone, Sonic Stadiums, the Sega Forum, Saturday Morning Sonic, DeviantArt, Furfiniant, Satayam Sonic. You know, just give them an idea that I'm not, to give them an idea and show them I'm not the only one out there that has these theories or thinks this way. Also, with the exception of Toon Zone, every one of the other places that I posted this, I guess you could say this text, if you will, every other place I posted it at has the link to STH151NicoleFan's video in which they talked about this. Now basically I asked the question of, I start out by, excuse me, I gotta put the bird away, I should have done this in the first place. Bird likes to make noise when it's not supposed to. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I start out talking about Mobius years later. And essentially, basically this is what I did. And again, I'm reading this so that, you know, hopefully I won't make any mistakes. And for those that criticize me for doing this as well, you guys really need to lay off, okay? But anyway, this is what I was saying. I said Mobius years later, and I'm quoting what I'm saying here. So I quote what I said. Basically, Mobius years later, what can be said about this topic? Because obviously it's a topic that people talk about a lot and debate. Many have felt that it is part of the Sonic comic book's continuity. In other words, people, even myself, feel that there is a connection and that it probably is the future in some way, while others say that it's not. And that means others out there, other fans, even some of the writers, past and even some of the writers maybe of the past, perhaps of the present, have all said that it's not canon. Well, if it's not canon, here's the question, why continuously write about it? Even after you resolved everything in your first follow-up on it, why continuously write it? Why do a four-part story arc on it in Sonic Universe? Why do that? Now I do point out that both sides may be correct in some ways. For those that say Mobius years later is part of the comic book continuity, they have valid points, and these are the valid points that I point out. And you'll probably notice the valid points here. As a matter of fact, one fan, that's STH151NicoleFan, over at a certain popular media site, and the reason I put that is because I don't want any, is because of Toon Zone. I don't want Toon Zone to think I'm promoting YouTube, so I put certain popular media site. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. Recently, as of last night, I said tonight because I did this yesterday, and you'll see a video of me doing this before this. But as of last night, did an 8.5 long minute theory / video on why they feel Mobius years later is part of the continuity in some ways. One of the things they bring up is the resurgence wars and the elemental wars that were discussed and talked about and briefly mentioned, if you will, by Antoine and Bunnie's son Jaques in the last two issues. In the last two issues, Dragon Natural Speaker, what can you do about it? In the last 2 issues of the Mobius Years Later saga that were presented in the Sonic Universe comic. You may ask yourself why this fan, STH151NicoleFan, brought this theory up. Well, from what I can see in the more recent events of the main comic and the Sonic Universe comic, they feel there could be some truth behind it. The reason they think and theorize this belief is because of what will be happening in future issues. One of the things they brought up was the Ancient Onyx, the Black Chaos Emerald, aka the Black Chaos Emerald, for which, according to them, Tikal and Chaos resided. That's Tikal and Chaos, if you will. They feel that with this theory, that this could be the beginning of the aforementioned wars, resurgence and elemental, that were briefly mentioned in the Mobius Years Later saga. Which in turn they feel, from what I read, because I did read the text on the video, they feel could bring Tikal and Chaos together as Tikahos. In other words, the combination as one, Tikal merging with Chaos to become Tikahos. Now I remind you, and I'm reminding those watching this video, that these are just theories. That these are just I gotta drink me some coffee here, excuse me. There we go. Now I remind you that these are just theories that this fan over at this media site, YouTube, is thinking of and feel could be closer to the truth and closer in connection to Mobius Years Later than anyone could have thought. Now I know, well, I'll mention it right here, but let me continue. I was going to mention something, but let me continue. I'll get to that in a second. I understand, and I'm sure this fan, STH151NicoleFan, understands that nobody will believe these theories. In other words, a lot of you, including someone recently over at the Sonic Stadium forums, have said, as well as at DeviantArt, has said that these are possible futures. That is true. In fact, some others have even indicated that these futures sometimes exist in other dimensions, other zones. That is true too. But I can accept Silver Saga, with the Silver Saga in Sonic Universe, which was sort of a adaptation, if you will, very light adaptation, or light adaptation in some ways of Other M, with a few differences here and there. I can understand that. I can understand that. But with the Mobius Years Later that has been very popular, it makes one think. It makes one think that there could be a connection. But again, I understand, and so does STH151NicoleFan understand, that a lot of you will not say it's the future, and it's only possible. Well, I agree, but some people have even indicated in some responses that even though it may be possible, even Tross over at Saturday Morning Sonic has said this, that even though it may be possible, but there still could be some differences, but there still can be similarities. In other words, things can change, but things can stay the same going into the future. Now, continuing on. However, there might be one theory, or maybe two, that they may agree on. What might those be, you ask? Well, the first one has to do with Snively and the missing blue Chaos emerald. For you see, this fan, STH151NicoleFan, feels that there is a connection between Snively and the missing emerald, because they believe that Snively has the emerald. You may ask why that might be the case. According to this fan, Snively was the first one to report the emerald missing. And most recently, as of 234, Sonic Main Comic, and issue 37, Sonic Universe, has finally decided to take matters into his own hands and finally overthrow Dr. Eggman, as well as at the same time free his beloved Queen Regina, the Iron Queen, if you will. Now, to me, as somebody that read this theory, I have to agree with it, because even though I have yet to open any of my subscription issues, which a lot of you feel is stupid, and is a waste of money, but that's my decision. But because even though I have yet to open any of my subscription issues, from the summaries I have read and from the theories and predictions that I have watched and read that have been provided by other fellow Sonic fans, when you piece these pieces of this very puzzle that STH151NicoleFan is trying to put together, it all makes sense. Now, the final theory is actually a theory I've talked about myself in a two-part audio video, but it seems that I'm not the only one. For you see, just like those that have written about it and have talked about it, the theory has to do with one Hershey the cat. Now, of course, many have speculated possibly the same theories and thoughts as this fellow fan, STH151NicoleFan, has. And that being, of course, after 233 and even before that Miss Hershey is alive and well and undercover as part of the Mobius South American Dark Legion. Now, for those that ask why people may speculate this, it's because when you look at the upper panels in the mid-pages of issue 37, you will see a female Legionnaire being confronted by one of the Grand Masters. And when you add in the description of 237 in a few months, that a mysterious figure is tracking Sonic, Tails, and Amy, one can guess and wonder as to who that could truly be that is following them. Now, please understand, and that these are just theories that this fellow fan, STH151NicoleFan, who's also a friend of mine, came up with. Now, I did not mention all of what they said. You will have to read it yourself. But let's just say it has something to do with the three spirits that have awakened inside Axis Nagas. As for the rest, you'll have to read it yourself. Now, you might ask yourself, why would STH151NicoleFan come up with those two other theories besides the Hershey one? Well, I'll give you a reason why. From what they have pointed out, and some people have pointed out, Snively announced over the intercom that the blue emerald was missing. So it only makes sense in STH151NicoleFan's eyes that he would have it. Why else would he finally decide to take action? Now, I'm not saying STH151NicoleFan is correct. As a matter of fact, many people that have responded to the topic at the various sites I posted it on have even said it could be two other people. One other person they feel it could be is Linda. Now Linda to me would be a perfect secondary prime, would be a very close second to being the prime suspect. And I mean a very close second. Because when you think about it, Linda has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to be in total control. She's had opportunity when she basically deactivated her grandfather Dimitri. Didn't kill him, but just deactivated his head bubble, if you will, and put him in storage, thus making herself Grand Master finally. Then she had the opportunity right then and there when the Iron Queen was on the brink of defeat, if you will, in I think it was 210, I believe, 210, 211, I can't really remember. I think it was 211, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was 211. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even though the Iron Queen was on the brink of defeat, Linda looked at this as an opportunity, knowing that the Iron Queen was going to lose. Again, she looked at it as an opportunity, saying, hey, I'm going to be the new, not just the Grand Master, I'm going to be the new Empress of the Eggman Empire. And what happened? She had that taken away. But then, not only does she regain her status as Grand Master after Eggman fixes her up, adds a few more circuitry and cybernetics inside of her, but here's the thing. Once again, she is even though she's a Grand Master, she's working under somebody else. So technically she's not like a Grand Master. She's not the overall Grand Master. So to somebody, one of the people over at several of these sites, she seems like this most likely candidate, second best, very close second candidate as being the one that stole the emerald. Because think about it. I mean, she's even voiced it, I think, in one issue, and she's even voiced it snivelly before the whole Genesis thing took place, that Eggman's insanity and his obsession is going to ruin everything. It's going to destroy everything. So when you think about it, she would have the more logical reasoning, not just reasoning, to want to take Eggman out. Because you think, again, you think honestly, she likes seeing all these dark Grand Masters, different legions, different chapters of the Dark Legion all over the place? No. From a character standpoint, she'd rather have it all be one legion and her being the overall Grand Master. No other Grand Masters, no other regions. Which, if you think about it, makes sense. And from a character standpoint, do you think honestly she likes seeing seeing these Grand Masters wearing, oh, I don't know, Eggman outfits? I don't think so. But anyway, getting back to my point here, according to several of these fans, she seems like the most likely candidate alongside Snivelly. Now the other candidate they look at as a prime suspect for having it is Naga. Now one person, Eggman Naga. Now one person points out in the Jailbreak saga featuring Scourge and the Suppression Squad in Universe, that Naga has all of the Zone Cops running thin. In other words, all the Zone Cops are out and about trying to find out exactly where Naga is going to be next. So, you know, instead of having a stabilization there and being able to probably fix whatever's going on the prime planet of Mobius, Naga has all of the Zone Cops scattered thin. So again, like I said, instead of trying to focus on not just regaining order, if you will, during the jailbreak, and also trying to fix what happened on the Prime Universe, Naga has them all running thin, which makes some people believe he has the emerald. And also, They point out that when Snively did his thing in issue 37, he sees a jet that he's never seen before, but takes it anyway. You know, he wonders how it got there. No one really knows. He doesn't know. So, it's all this, and the fact that he dropped a soul emerald in Treasure Team Tango, at the beginning of Treasure Team Tango, that makes some people think Eggman Naga could be the second one, could be the other candidate. So, in theory, you have 3 candidates, right? Wrong. You have one more candidate. Sally. That's right. I know you're thinking, Sally? What are you talking about? Think of it this way. In issue 29 of the main comic book, Sally was roboticized for that issue, right? Or at least half of that issue. But when she was roboticized, her vest was still like as she wore it, as she usually wears it, in kind of like this, instead of being connected, right? So here's the thing. When she got roboticized a second time, her vest somehow connects, but it connects in a shape that almost looks like part of it could be emerald shape. If you know what I mean. Now, true, some people will argue, well, that can't be the case since she's been modified and weaponized, right? That might be true, but we don't know that. We don't know that. You see, the emerald could have easily got absorbed in. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but during robotization, it could have got roboticized into her. In other words, absorbed into her, so that not only did it help her regain her free will, although some people may find that to be a little suspicious and a little stupid, if you will, but when you think about it, her free will being restored to the point that, think about this. Think about this. Think about this. She could have control of her robotic mind and her free will. So in other words, let's just say for the sake of argument, because somebody has pointed this out. There have been several that will point this out or agree with that. Because I'm not the one that brought it up. This one person did. This one person over Deviant did. But think about this. You add in the fact that possibly she could have it within her, in her robotic body somewhere, as a part of her robotic body. So think of it this way. She could possibly have it. Now, she could possibly have it. And what that could mean, like I said, like I was trying to say, she could have control of both her robotic and free will. So, let's just say she uses this to her advantage, okay? She doesn't want to tip off to maybe even her friends that she's free, that she has a free will. Nor does she want, because that might tip off to Eggman that she has a free will. So she decides, okay, since I got control of both my minds, I'll lay dormant and let my robotic mind run for a while. And then when the time is right, I'll come out and I'll strike and reveal myself to Eggman. And reveal the fact that I've had my free will thanks to the Chaos Emerald. And then when you add in the fact that she has a power ring installed in her, that helps even more. So, I know you're thinking that sounds crazy, that sounds stupid. I know you guys are going to say that. You're going to say that's not possible. How can it not be possible? When you think about it, she might be laying dormant. Okay? Heck, I've read, let me give you an example. There's a friend of mine that has a website called the Treetop Inn. And he does some unusual stories. One of the stories involve two people, a human and a plushie, a furry plushie. Let's just say a living furry plushie, okay? And basically what this human is allowed to do, let's just say this human lady is allowed to do, with her female companion, if you will, her female plushie companion, is her female plushie companion allows her to step into her. In other words, she'll unzip herself, allow the human to step into her, and get absorbed into the fabric, and they become one. And if, let's say, the plushie And then, by becoming one, they can either decide which one lays dormant or both want to be in control at the same time. You get what I'm saying? So let's say the human decides, okay, I'm going to lay dormant, let you do what you want, or the plushie says, okay, I'm going to lay dormant, you take control and do what you want. Then it will be just that individual in charge. The other one will not respond, will not do anything, will not say anything, will not control what they think. What I'm saying, folks, is how that connects to this theory is it just might be possible. And with a certain head writer, we don't know if he's thought about that or not. So, but that is just the theories that STH151NicoleFan came up with, and just sort of my, I guess you could say, my response to those theories as well, and in addition to what other people, as well as in addition mentioning what other fans already have said at certain forums and sites. So comment down below, tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with this or not? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you will, some of you, I know a lot of you won't. So it's going to probably be half and half. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you will, and I'll talk to you all later.